Hey guys, and welcome back to Battlefront Updates. Patch 2.0 is finally here, which brings us the multiplayer progression overhaul. I've already talked about that in multiple videos, so if you're interested in that, feel free to check out any of the other videos on my channel. But in this video, I wanted to go over the patch notes that were released earlier this morning. By the time you're watching this video, the servers might still be down because they said it could take up to 4 hours until the servers were back, which probably depends on how well the new progression system rollout goes. On top of the progression system, they also unlock all currently available heroes and hero ships to everyone. And Bespin, Administrator's Palace, also makes a return in the game through Blast and Heroes vs Villains. And they also mention here that Jetpack Cargo will be returning as a limited time game mode on Bespin. And just to clarify from these patch notes, it's only Jetpack Cargo that is limited time. Blast and Heroes vs Villains will be available permanently on Bespin. And they've also unlocked all star cards and weapons in Arcade at epic card level so that Arcade can be more freely used as a sandbox to try out new combinations. But now let's jump over to the actual patch notes. Starting off, we have Iden, who has gotten a health increase from 550 to 650, much needed, and they've also fixed an issue where the secondary fire module didn't appear on her blaster. The droid shield has gotten an increase in active time as well. They've also made a pretty big overhaul of Iden's pulse cannon, and I'm not going to go through every number here, but basically it's going to be more than twice as fast to charge it up now, but it will instead then do a little bit less damage and also less explosive damage. So it's going to be more of a skill weapon where you have to hit them dead on, a bit like with Bosk's blaster, instead of having something where you can splash damage on. So I'm really curious to test that out and see if the pulse cannon actually feels like a viable weapon right now. And they've also changed one of her star cards, the Hot Swap star card, which will now actually give Iden health when her droid stuns someone. So I think that's very interesting because a lot of people have been requesting healing star cards for some of the heroes, and I think Iden is a very viable choice for that because I'm not afraid that she's gonna become the hero that can stay alive for the entire game like Palpatine or Bosk can, so hopefully this will make her a more useful hero. Moving on to Boba Fett, they acknowledge the fact that he has been compared to an F-15 fighter, so they have decreased the speed of his jetpack slightly. He's still gonna be a lot faster than he was before patch 1.2, but it's not gonna be as fast as it was in the last patch. And they've also given him a 50 health boost to compensate that, so he's now at 550 in total. Moving on to Leia, they say that they are happy with her current gameplay, but they will look into improving her squad shield for heroes versus villains in the future. They have increased her maximum health regeneration slightly, as well as decreased her health regeneration delay. So she's going to be a little bit more powerful in that regards, and I think I agree with this. The only thing I still think is too OP on her is the lock-on for her secondary fire, but I only think that's an issue on Crate. That's really the only map where you get annoyed by that, so otherwise I think it's good that they left her like she is at the moment. Han Solo has also gotten a health increase from 600 to 650 and a bug fix for his detonite charge in the air. Vader has gotten a fix to his punishing grip star card, which didn't properly work after they reworked the force choke, as well as the fact that his saber throw could go through a wall on Kammakargatan. Palpatine's card for lightning absorption has also been fixed. It didn't grant the correct amount of health after being used, apparently. I actually didn't know that, so we'll see if that means more or less healing for Palpatine. And then a couple of bug fixes for Rey, Yoda, Finn and Lando, so no balancing there, but simply some fixes to the insight ability, stun grenades on Chewie, unleash and presence on Yoda, Deadeye on Finn, as well as being able to pick Lando if Han is already played. So now if we move on to the class changes, first of all, we have the Assault, where it says fixed an issue where the weapon cooling was not working correctly for weapon mods. So this is what's gonna fix the explosive shot on Heavy, and this line is actually available on all classes, so I'm just gonna bring it up on the first one. But if you're wondering about the DC-15LD explosive shot, that issue has now been fixed on all classes. In terms of balancing on the officer, they have slightly reduced the end damage of the default pistol, and they've also nerfed the SE-44C to not be as powerful when you use the cooling mod. It's probably going to be similar to how it actually has been in the previous patch with that cooling cell bug, so you'll most likely not notice a too big difference, but they have nerfed the end damage distance from 40 to 30 meters, so it won't have as much of a range. And they have also nerfed the officer's presence, because that was what gave the officers the incredible amount of battle points that they currently got. So now it won't stack. So in the previous patch it gave you points depending on how many players you had around you. So if you have 19 players around you, you could just get thousands of battle points in a minute. But right now it's not gonna stack, so if you just have one player around you, that will give you the max amount of battle points possible with the officer's presence ability. And the blaster turret will now spot enemies when it acquires a lock-on, so even before it fires, you will be able to see a red outline on the enemy that the turret is locking onto. As for the specialist, it can now spot enemies with the base version of the thermal binoculars, and it will also give you 25 points per spot, which means that it might now actually be worth using the thermal binoculars, both because you will get some extra points and because you can spot people without having the star card for it. And then we have some bug fixes for the heavy, including a bug that allowed you to use the sentry in first person. And for the aerial class, we just have more bug fixes for the improved rocket launcher star card and some animations. Same goes for the enforcers, a couple of bug fixes for the sonic imploder as well as the explosive expert star card. And lastly, a bug fix for the ATST's grenade launcher. And now we move over to some game mode changes and balancing. So both on Takodana, Kashyyyk, Death Star 2 and Tatooine, there's been a couple of changes to the spawns and balancing of different phases, and if you're interested in each individual one, I will link the patch notes as always in the description below. And they've also increased the LAAT respawn time on both Kashyyyk and Kamino. I'm not sure why they haven't done it on Naboo, because Naboo isn't here in the patch notes, but maybe they just missed it. Good to see that increase though, so you can't just die and respawn over and over with the LAAT. They have also increased the price of the LAAT on Kamino from 400 to 1000. So I'm assuming they've only done it for Kamino here, and I think that's fine because Kamino has definitely been the place where the LAAT is the most annoying, so a very well deserved nerf to the LAAT. We're actually getting a new daylight setting for Endor, which is something we've seen from mods before, so it's nice to see that we now officially got that. The more daylight variations and night variations we can get for the maps, the better, because they all make the map feel a little bit different. And here we have a very welcome change, which is actually listed under Starfighter Assault, but it does apply to Galactic Assault. Starfighter splash damage against troopers reduced by 50% to prevent excessive targeting of the troopers. Thank you, DICE. Now it won't be as annoying to get strafe round over and over. And then there's a big list of bug fixes both for arcade and just general improvements. So if you've had one particular bug that has been annoying you, feel free to check that out if it's on the list. And I can also say that Nvidia Ansel is actually coming out with Battlefront 2 today, which I think is really good. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's basically a screenshot tool that allows you to take the kind of cinematic screenshots that people have been doing through kind of hacked cinematic tools, but now you can do it officially through Nvidia Ansel. So I am very curious to test that out myself and maybe start taking some screenshots for my own thumbnails. But that brings this video to an end. Some pretty good changes for patch 2.0, and I'm excited to hear what you guys think. Once this video is up, you can expect a live stream shortly after that, so stay tuned. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.